Dr. Laura Jakubowski, and in this video, I am going to demonstrate how to load a capillary tube with solid sample in order to do a melting point determination. The items we will need are a capillary tube, and be sure and have the type of capillary tube which is sealed at one end. We will also need a mortar and pestle. If you do not have a mortar and pestle, as an alternative, you can use a watch glass with a test tube. We will also need a piece of weighing paper. A glass tube, which is open on both ends, is an alternative if you do not have a glass tube like this. You may use a pipette, which has had the narrow end cut off. We will also need a ruler, and we will need our sample. For this video, I'm going to be using benzoic acid, although the technique I will demonstrate can be used for any solid sample. So to start, I am going to put a bit of the solid into the mortar and pestle. It is necessary to grind the sample to a fine powder before you load it into the capillary tube. And you just need a little bit. So I'm going to tap out what I'll call about a pea-sized amount. And now I will grind this into a fine powder, breaking up any large chunks that are there. So I had mentioned, alternatively, you can also use a watch glass and a test tube. So if you do not have a mortar and pestle, you can place your sample on the watch glass and use the back end of the test tube to grind. So once your sample has been ground to a fine powder, you'll find that it is easiest to load the capillary tube from a piece of weighing paper. I'm going to tap the powder onto the weighing paper. Now I will take the capillary tube, and having the open side pointed down, I am going to push it into the powder. The goal here is to have a sample height about 5 millimeters. As an estimate, this is about half the width of your finger. So I will continue pushing until I have about half the width of my finger. So now that I have done this, the sample is at the top of the capillary tube. We need it to be at the bottom. So in order to help tap it down, I am going to drop it through this glass tube. I'm going to place the glass tube such that the bottom of it is resting on the desk. And I'm going to drop the capillary tube, having the bottom side down into the glass tube. You will notice it bounces several times, and as it bounces, the solid has now moved from the top of the capillary tube to be in the bottom. If it did not move, you may continue to drop it into the tube and let it bounce like this as many times as needed. So here is where, if you do not have that glass tube as the alternate, you can use the empty pipette. To confirm that I have the correct amount, I'm going to measure with a ruler to be sure I have about a height of 5 millimeters. Okay. Yes, I have confirmed I have a height of about 5 millimeters into the capillary tube. Our sample is prepared, and now we are ready to do the melting point determination.